Good evening. We are scheduled to call to order the Housing and Human Welfare meeting on 2/16/21. The time is 6:37 p.m. We'll start with the roll call. Myself and Alderman Schandelmeyer. Awesome. We will then move to the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion is approved. The agenda passes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the Housing and Human Welfare meeting of 12/14/20?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The minutes of the Housing and Human Welfare meeting on 12/14/20 pass. Next item on the agenda is the appointments and reappointments to committee, starting with AP 221, the appointment of Kathleen Abner to the Housing Affordability and Community Equity Development Commission. Is Kathy here?
Yes.
Unmute myself. Can you hear me and see me?
Hey, how are you?
How are you? Good to see you.
I'm well. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm excited to finally get you added to the commission. I know we talked almost a month ago, and I mean, the knowledge that I got in that phone call was just amazing. So I look forward to working together, as this commission will be extremely important to following through with some of the requests of the consent decree and of the Affordable Housing Task Force. And so, and which is, moving right along. It's in the feasibility stages now. We're hoping to present that in April. So I just really look forward to you being a part of this. And I think it'll be great just getting some stuff done for housing. So Alderman Schandelmeyer, anything?
Yes, Ms. Abner, I want to thank you for your willingness to step up and serve our city like this. It's a very important committee. I always like to ask the applicants, what made you apply and why are you interested?
Yeah, okay. I'd be happy to do that. And Alderman Schandelmeyer, I know we haven't had a chance to meet, so I'm glad to be able to have this opportunity to talk with you. So as I think you are in receipt of my short bio. So I have professional background experience in housing, specifically affordable housing. That really stems from my work with Homes for America, where I just retired as president and CEO back in the fall. And I was with them for about 15 years. And I'm, very active in housing, other housing matters and activities. I'm a member of the Maryland Affordable Housing Coalition. I will share with you that I've been nominated to be vice president of the Anne Arundel County Affordable Housing Coalition. If all goes well, I'll be approved there as well. And so, I have a keen interest in housing and housing related matters. And I am a native Annapolitan. And so I have deep roots in the Annapolis community and certainly would welcome the opportunity to be able to serve the community in this role with housing, given my background. And hope that I can, bring to, the commission some good experience and background.
Anything else, Alderman Schandelmeyer?
No, sir.
Awesome. I really am excited about this. And Teresa talks about your experience as well. So I think this will be good. And so with that, we can, is there a motion to approve the appointment of Kathy Abner to the Affordable Housing and Community Equity Development Commission?
Is it the actual, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, point of order clarification. Is it the actual approval? Because don't we do that in the council meeting proper, or is this just the favorable recommendation?
I'm sorry. Yeah, it should be a motion of favorable recommendation. My apologies.
Excellent. I'm Mr. Chairman, so moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. With that, the motion approved, or the favorable recommendation approves. And I believe it is added to the agenda for our meeting at the end of the month, which is 2/22?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So we will see you next Monday then.
That's great.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you again.
Appreciate it.
The next item on the agenda is AP 321, the appointment of Grace Matthews to the Education Commission. Okay. We will just move that to the bottom of the agenda, and if she hops on, we'll just handle that. The next item on the agenda is AP 421, the appointment of India Oaks to the Education Commission. Hey, India, how are you doing?
Hi.
Excited to have you as an applicant. Obviously aware of your knowledge and commitment to education in the county and here in our city. And so I think you'd be a great representative. And this fits perfect. And so I'm excited to have you here.
I am excited as well.
Awesome. Awesome. Alderman Shandelmeyer, did you have any thoughts?
I just want to, again, thank you for submitting your interest in this position. I think you're going to do a fantastic job, but same question I asked to everybody. What made you be interested in this position, and why did you apply? Sorry, I've stuttered a little bit there.
As you are aware of, I was born and raised in Annapolis and have been advocating for our schools in Annapolis for almost as long as I started attending them myself. I have always been proud of how much potential our county school system has to offer our kids, but especially so about our city, and it's always been a priority to make sure each and every family in Annapolis gets the support needed to access the best education and opportunities for our kids. Education is not just about what is within the walls of a classroom. We can have the greatest teachers ever, and it won't mean anything if our kids, our families, don't have food and shelter and feel safe, which is so critical. Our walking routes are safe. Our bus stops are in safe lit areas. Our kids have safe before and after care that the county actually is aware about. Our immigrant families have effective communication. Our kids get the food they deserve. Our kids don't get sick because of unhealthy homes, and they get the proper health care services, both physically and mentally. Will the Education Commission address all of that directly? Of course not, but the more the Commission what is needed for our kids as a whole, at every socioeconomic level, the stronger we can advocate for the best education possible in Annapolis. Or I can put it another way, the same myths and rumors, SMD accusations that we hear now about schools in Annapolis, I heard growing up almost 40 years ago, all of which just as ridiculous then as they are now, and the only way to change that is to make sure the city shows how proud we are of our kids and schools, and how much we are willing to fight for them. So this is just one of many ways to show just how loud Annapolis will be in protecting our kids. And as for myself, along with a lifetime of advocating for our kids and schools at the local and state level, I also bring a background in juvenile detention reform and educational civil rights at the national level, fighting for the right to education in countries like Guatemala, and experience in teaching.
That is fantastic resume, and Ms. Ox, thank you again for. Did I pronounce that correctly? Is Oaks or Ox? Oaks.
Yeah.
My apologies, Ms. Oaks, and thank you again for stepping forward.
Yeah, that's great, especially the nod to criminal justice and juvenile justice reform. I think that's critical, especially with our vulnerable youth in certain communities. So I look forward to having you as a member of the Education Commission. I attend as many meetings as I can. I actually enjoy the Education Commission. Even though the council does not, the city does not have any direct effect, as you mentioned, on things that happen on a county level for education. It's critical, though, that we just give our input and as a council back the recommendations of the commission, just so that our kids have a voice, because the Annapolis cluster is huge, and we make up a large majority of the county schools. And so I look forward to having you at the meetings, and I look forward to seeing you in 3 weeks, actually. I think the next meeting is. And so is there a motion to approve the recommendation of India Oaks to the Education Commission?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion to offer a favorable recommendation for India Oaks for the Education Commission.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Awesome. The recommendation to the full council passes, and we will see you two next Monday. Thank you so much. Julian, did the other recommendation have a chance to hop on? Okay, no problem. So with that, we'll conclude the appointment process outside of AP 321. The next item on the agenda is committee discussions, starting with ID 2120, opioid prevention related programs and services update. City Manager Jarrell.
The city manager
Okay. Lynn, would you maybe be able to reach out to him and see if he is swinging by, or if Kevin is swinging by?
I will.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll get back to that as well. Next item on the agenda is ID 2921 SA 2320 CDBG / planning and zoning. You have representatives here for that.
Hello. Can you hear me okay? Oh, there's Sally.
I'm here, and Teresa is here as well.
I can't understand why my camera's not working. Let me see if I can try it again. I think it's locked on your end, maybe.
Julian, can you see if that's an issue?
Because it.
So
I'm pretty sure that I had logged out of there.
afterwards, maybe tomorrow I can touch base with you. We can figure out what's going on.
Let me just log out of it really quickly. Let's see.
Let's just give a second to see if that can get fixed.
Okay. Did that work?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so this is, there we go. So the city's been very fortunate to get actually 3 batches of CDBG money this year. Our regular CDBG funds, we don't have an allocation yet, but it'll probably be around the same amount, which is about $262,000. A while back, we got 156 to do COVID-related projects, and we did 6 projects. They're all underway. And then we recently got $272,000 to do more COVID-related projects. So these are the projects that are here are the 4 projects that the city's considering for the $272,000. So the committee wanted each group to do a presentation. So the way I have them is in alphabetical order. I thought that would be fair. Okay. So do you want them to go ahead and start in alphabetical?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So that would be Mike, Arundel Lodge.
Hello, this is Mike. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello? Oh, that's great. I had a full work day and I'm traveling back home, so I am in the car right now. So Arundel Lodge is proposing to upgrade the ventilation system at 1819 Bay Ridge Avenue, which is one of our outpatient substance use disorder and mental health clinics We do provide medication-assisted treatment at that location, intensive outpatient treatment for persons with substance use disorders, and an outpatient mental health clinic for children, adults, and families. We're also, for the housing that's within the city, we are going to be providing a similar kind of setup for both the clinic and the housing, which is using UV light in the ventilation system. UV light kills bacteria and viruses as well as mold. And by putting it in the ventilation system, it really can't harm humans who should not be exposed too much to it. But it's a way of ending or reducing the likelihood of transmission of airborne infections and transmissions of infectious diseases. In addition, in all of our homes, we're going to be using and converting to touchless plumbing fixtures, which will reduce the transmission from surface contact. And over the past year, we've been successful in preventing transmission. I'm very proud of our staff who helped develop protocols, and our health home nurses who helped develop protocols for our houses in terms of cleaning, in terms of assisting our clients to sort of learn how they should protect themselves and each other in public areas of the houses where they're living in. And I think this is another step as hopefully we will see the reduction of community transmission and the risk of COVID-19 to our community, and help us begin to engage with each other in the ways that we miss so much. So that's kind of a summary of what we're going to be doing in our housing and at the clinic location at 1819. So with that, I guess I'll leave it for any questions that people have.
Awesome. I'll first defer to Alderman Chandlermeyer if you have any questions.
No questions, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for all you're doing. I did not know about the UV lights impact on. You said it also handled like fungus, like airborne mold, stuff like that.
That's yes. You know, one of the it was first used by hospitals in operating rooms, and they would kind of wheel in this machine, and it would kill all of the infectious diseases in the operating room after everyone had left it. And then it's been tested with other bacteria and viruses. It's obviously there has not been as much testing with COVID-19, but I think the experience has been positive with using it within the ductwork or the HVAC equipment.
Stuff I did not know before. Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Teresa, did you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions. I'd just like to congratulate Arundel Lodge. They're the first of our first grantees that have spent all their money. So
awesome.
First project, their first COVID project is completed.
Awesome. And I too extend congratulations on the work that you guys have done, especially throughout this course of the pandemic. Mental health has just been, at an all-time high. So thank you for stepping up and answering that call. I did have a quick question on another topic, but I'm glad that you're here because I can ask the question. So has there been any thought into extending any, I know we may have just, we discussed this previously, I think, extending a partnership to some underserved communities in particular, where we see mental health crisis escalate into violent crime or arrest. And so is there the potential of a partnership between Arundel Lodge and the city of Annapolis and some of our vulnerable communities for a more hands-on approach?
So I will tell you that recently we have started at the 2 community centers that are operated by the HACA community. They have essentially learning pods to assist the young people living in the community with their education and helping them attend, utilize the virtual learning. But the HACA staff reached out to us to see if we could have some mental health expertise because they could see the impact on the children and on their families with everything that's they're forced to juggle with, including learning and adapting to this new learning environment. So we do have one of our mental health professionals going to the community centers one day a week. And I was very happy that they reached out to us and asked. And I was happy that one of our staff could kind of be there to support the volunteers and the HACA staff who were supporting the children, as well as address any concerns that they may have about the children and how they were doing. I'm open to whatever you propose, Alderman, and I believe that part of the mission, obviously a nonprofit should be serving the community. It should be informed by what the community thinks they need. And if there's a way that we can do it, I want to be able to do that. We have a lot of work to do to address the inequities in our society, including the inequities in our healthcare and behavioral health system. So I want to be a partner to do that.
Yeah, I think that would be great. And I appreciate your commitment to that. I know we have 2 projects in the city in the pipeline that are coming up, and I think partnership there would be critical, along with HACA as well, in using the mobile vehicle that Alderwoman Pendell Charles has spearheaded, so that they've converted an ambulance for on-site care in communities. And so maybe getting in there, or there is also the conversion of the apartment that we had, which was supposed to be like a community resource for nonprofits to host meetings and things like that. And I think just extending all opportunities is great. So I appreciate this. And if there are no more questions, I would entertain a motion to approve. Oh, no, wait, we don't approve. We'll approve it all at one time, Teresa, or individual?
Yeah, let's just approve it all at the end.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you very much. And I appreciate the support we get.
So the next project is Blessed in Tech Ministries, Dolores Bullock. And this is Food Fridays. It's a food bank at Pitt Moyer. Dolores?
Can you see us?
Hello, yep.
Yep.
All right. I'm sorry, we can't see you guys. Okay. Hi there.
How's everything?
Great evening. First of all, we want to thank you all for this opportunity to present the Food Friday program. We know that proper nutrition is the key to fighting this terrible disease. And in response to COVID-19, the Food Friday program assists up to 200 elderly and disabled, low to moderately income individual families with groceries every week. The program protects our most vulnerable city residents by providing delivery services of prepackaged emergency food and other necessities on a weekly basis that would otherwise be a hazard to their health if they were to travel out. We provide pickup service as well if they can do that safely throughout the pandemic. The funding that will be used to operate on a weekly basis will be for the food pantry at the Pitt Moyer Recreation Center. The CBDG funds will be used to transport the food, marketing programs, staffing, equipment, and supplies. Additional funding for marketing would be to increase the, let me just stop. I'm gonna stop reading and just talk. Let me just talk.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we want to do is to help expand the program to serve as many families as we can through this program. And by doing that, we want to be able to spread the word, get the word out, let people know about what we're doing, and to really serve as many people as we can. We're going into different areas, bywaters, all the different programs that are out there. We want to make sure that the families that we started with, the Office of Emergency Management started the program. It was only serving about 33 families initially. We're up to about 132 families right now that we're serving on a weekly basis. And we just keep going. We just keep serving. We're serving anywhere from seniors, disabled, youth, homeless, anyone that needs help. We help them. If they call in to the Office of Emergency Services, we're able to assist them. We're using the funding basically for renting of the trucks, for, of course, packaging and things of that sort, and to make sure that we can get the deliveries out. I think that's pretty much it. Do you have any questions for us?
Don't forget to tell them where the food's coming from.
Oh, that's it. I wanted to start reading all the papers. Food is coming from the Anne Arundel Food Bank and other donations. We try to work with other areas to try to get food in, but primarily it's coming from the Anne Arundel Food Bank. And yeah, it's coming from the Anne Arundel Food Bank. And I think the partnership also gives us food as well on occasion.
So before we start, if you guys could say your names and your titles.
I'm sorry.
No problem. It's for the note, and I forgot to get Michael as well to say it. My apologies.
Okay. We're Willie and Dolores Bullock from Blessed Tech Ministries. Willie is the president and CEO, and I'm the executive director and the vice president.
Awesome. Thank you guys very much. And so, Alderman Shandemeyer, you had your hand up, so I'll start with you.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to, first of all, as I'm going to say this a lot with all of our presenters, thank you for all you're doing. You guys have really stepped up during this pandemic. It's been a tough time for folks, and I appreciate it. Second of all, you expressed interest in kind of expanding out your program. What are some of the things that we could do to help?
Wow. We have been doing a lot of mobile work, getting out there and feeding the communities. And we would like to expand into the communities. We're doing the packaging and everything, delivering to the actual communities. So we have Bloomsbury Square, Eastport Terrace, Glenwood, Newtown, Robin Woods. We're sending it out to all of them, but we would like to take the truck to the actual communities and actually do a mobile distribution at the actual locations. And it would be better, instead of actually renting the truck, to actually have a truck that we can actually do it. So if we can be able to purchase a truck, that would be great.
And Mr. Chairman, if I may ask one quick follow-up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So if you don't know the answer to this, that's okay. Would the truck to do that require like food service standards like a food truck would be, like health inspections, licenses, etc., or because it's a distributing of prepackaged meals, are the regulations on that different?
Well, it won't be prepackaged meals per se. It will be actually food like canned goods, actually food that people will prepare themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't fall under like.
No.
Right. It wouldn't provide, actually it will be, when we look at the average, how everybody doing? How's everybody?
Good. Thank you very much for being here.
Yes. When we look at the numbers of the monies that we're spending now for the rental of the trucks, the mileage, and the gas, it comes up to basically probably a little over maybe $1,000 to up to maybe $1,500 a month. So if you do the math, when we do the math, by getting a used truck, roughly around $35,000 to $40,000, it can be better benefit the city in long term, because we're thinking about not just during the pandemic for these 2 years, but we're talking about overall, for the years to come, not just to stop here, during the pandemic, but even after the pandemic, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, to still be able to use this truck, to help, even with other nonprofit organizations like Lighthouse to pick up food, to get food to different locations and things of that sort. Like I said, it's not prepared food. It's canned foods and dry food and maybe frozen foods. So we don't need a special permission. We just need a truck to hold everything. Yeah. You don't need a special license. You need a special CDL license to drive this truck, because it's anywhere between a 16 to what we're using now, a 26-foot truck.
And so I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. My bad. Alderman Shellermeyer.
Oh, no, that was just a thumbs up. No more.
I seen, one, Lynn really quick, and then Teresa, and then I'll go.
So Alderman Shellermeyer, one of the things you asked was, what could you do to help? And one of the things you can do, so we deliver food weekly to families in the city of Annapolis. So any Friday afternoon, you have time, we start deliveries around noon. You're welcome to come by and pick up a route and take boxes and deliver them. So we
need extra drivers.
We would welcome that opportunity.
That's all, Lynn? Sorry, I was trying
to that was it. Thank you.
Okay. Teresa?
There's enough money in the grant to purchase a truck. Right now, I'm just waiting for HUD to approve an equipment purchase because our rep's not sure that it's an eligible activity under the regulations.
Okay.
So if it's eligible, they'll have enough.
Okay. And so would then you return back to the committee to rearrange funds, or how would that work?
No. I'll have to get. No, I can take care of it administratively.
Okay.
I'll take care of it administratively.
Okay, that's no problem. So it's at the Pitmore Rec Center every Friday. That's where, so it'll be stationed there physically. The food will be received there from the Anne Arundel County Food Bank. The staff members meet Fridays to prepare, deliver, and distribute. Okay, cool.
Yes,
cool.
And it's mostly volunteers.
Yeah.
So it's there's only a couple staff.
And so just for the general public, let me just do this. So they're serving about 700 individual residents. Of that, 650 are low and moderate income. 100 are persons who are homeless. 500 are persons with physical disabilities. 150 is a person with mental illnesses. 350 are elderly persons. 150 are at-risk children and youth, and about 75 are veterans. So it's a broad scope of citizens in the city of Annapolis. And do you also manage the water fund, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And so this is a familiar organization working with the city. And so I look forward to continued work. I know Kevin Simmons has an amazing group in emergency management. And so I'm glad that you guys are able to partner with them. I'm thankful for Teresa for assisting with the application, and Lynn as well, and making sure that we got this prepared. So thank you guys very much.
Thank you for your time and your opportunity.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay. The next project is Co-op Arundel, Jasmine Jameson.
Jasmine.
Life skills for women. And this will be the first time I'm meeting Miss Jameson. We've talked on the phone a lot, but we haven't actually seen each other. So.
Hi, Teresa.
Hi. Finally.
Hold on 1 second. I'm just not finding that one in the drive. 1 second. Okay. Sorry about that. Thank you very much, Yas, for coming out. So before you start, just state your name and title for the notes, and then please go into a description of what the program is about.
Okay, my name is Yasmin Jameson. I'm the president of Co-op Arundel, a local nonprofit, and we bring programs and services to underserved communities since about 2017. Since when all the stuff happened. But so the program that and thank you for giving me the opportunity to introduce it. We just from the beginning, we've had a pilot program already in the fall. And so now we know that it has succeeded, but I prepared a little something because I'm not good at this. So I wrote it up. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to read that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's called, What is My Sister's Keeper, MSK. MSK is an 8-week program that is designed for women to empower other women through lived experiences, resources, mentoring, life skills, mental health, financial literacy, vision, goal setting, and self-introspection. We have a mentor for each mentee who walks hand in hand with them, guiding each step of their journey as their mentees move from dependency to self-sufficiency. This program came into being through listening sessions and building relationships with residents in each of the low-income public housing communities in Annapolis. The residents of these neighborhoods have a strong sense of community and would rather be self-sufficient through guidance and learning life skills from someone who's walked in their shoes. Through these listening sessions, we found that they needed to work through some personal issues in addition to learning different life skills to be more self-sufficient. The COVID-19 pandemic made their situations worse, with some participants losing their jobs due to virtual learning for children. Others have had to give up or limit their work hours to stay home with their kids, since most are single parents. Some had jobs that went virtual and they didn't have the resources to work from home. So we crowdsourced donations to give each graduate a Chromebook. We saw this as an excellent opportunity to offer them job hunting skills and entrepreneurship skills, and help them set targeted, attainable goals that will help them on their path to self-sufficiency. They needed and wanted to improve themselves so that they could help their families. our pilot program this fall was a great success. We graduated 12 out of the 15 participants. Out of the 12 who graduated, we already have big achievements. 3 have enrolled in higher education. And let me see, 1 is going to paralegal, wants to be a paralegal. 1 is going to school for pharmacy tech, and the other 1 is going to culinary school. 3 are in actually driver's ed classes to get their driver's license, and this was a huge thing for them. I want to cry, okay, but I'm not gonna. 1 enrolled in GED classes. 2 are starting their own businesses. 1 is working on buying her own home, and another 1 found a new job. So by the end of the fall class, we already had 15 other women interested and registered for this class we just started on February 13th. And we already have a few on waiting list for the next class. Anyway, so we also partnered with Anne Arundel Workforce Development for Resources. And this past the first class, we had the Annapolis Police Department reentry program. The 2 officers running it came and they presented to the class what it is they do. A few of the participants already had children in that program, which was nice to see. We also partner with the Anne Arundel County Health Department to bring vital information about COVID-19 to the class, specifically that COVID-19 is most prevalent in the underserved communities where they live. We bring them most current data and statistics, provide everyone with a mask, keep classes socially distant, and wipe everything down with disinfectants. And we do it at the American Legion. So when they come in, they have to sign in, they get their temperature taken and before they go in. And so the grant money will be used for necessary PPE and cleaning supplies following all COVID-19 disinfectant protocols, as well as program supplies, equipment, and compensation for the 8 facilitators and program directors. We have applied for additional grants going forward. You know, we're anticipating, maybe 2 other classes, maybe over the summer and then next fall. So, but we haven't heard anything from them. And for just anything else, we ask for donations like we did with the Chromebooks. So I think that's it. So if you have any questions.
Yeah, okay. Alderman Schandelmeyer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Jameson, once again, thank you for stepping up and helping out during this troubling time for everyone. Is there any data on what the most common thing being taught by the program is?
Like
when you said you were teaching life skills such as financial literacy, is that like the most common one being taught? Are there other things?
We have 8 different, first 4 weeks of the class is more mental health and looking, because there's a lot of issues going on, with each person. So we focus on just mental health stuff. And then the next 4 weeks, we work on conflict resolution. We work on goal setting, vision setting. We work on financial literacy, and just stuff like that. I don't know which one. I mean, I don't know what else you would like to know about that.
That is the information I needed. Thank you.
Okay. And we do also in the middle do a team building activity. Last time we did, what are those, one of those rooms you got to work together to get out of?
Rooms.
Yeah.
Yes. But this time we're going to look into some other kind of they have these obstacle courses, because it's very important for them to work together as well as, with their mentors. And I mean, I can tell you so much more, but they only said 5 minutes.
Teresa, did you have anything?
No, I'm just glad to meet you finally.
Nice to meet you too.
Great. And this was good. I know about the program, so I really don't have many questions. look forward to working with you. Hope everything works out. I'm excited that you guys are in the second phase. Yeah, thank you very much for just coming tonight and sharing the story.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. See you
Do
soon,
I
man.
stay on or go?
I think you're good unless Teresa has any additional information for afterwards.
No, I mean, I really don't. I mean, basically all you're going to do afterwards is decide whether or not to recommend to the council our recommendations.
Okay. So we'll be in, or Teresa will be in touch then.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're
welcome, everybody.
Good seeing you.
Bye.
All right. Next we have Harold Lloyd from Superior Futures. They're requesting $40,000 for a job training program for youth.
And so could you just state your name and your role, and then you can start with the description of the program.
My name is Harold Lloyd, and I'm the president of Superior Future. Our program is called Building Leaders, and it's kind of funny that we named it that because we focus on trades and building objects such as tables, chairs, back settings for plays such as the Martin Luther King play, and bird feeders throughout the community with our youth. So I'm going to start by explaining who we're helping. Our program mainly focuses on youth who come from low-income neighborhoods such as Woodside Gardens and Napa's Gardens and Napa's Woods, College Creek, Overhead Court, Eastport Terrace, Robinwood, Harbor Heights, and Bywaters. And over 90% of our participants are considered at-risk students, which means they require ongoing intervention and mentorship to help them succeed academically, socially, mentally. Specifically target students who are struggling in school because our mission is to motivate our participants to disconnect from their past wrongdoings because we want them to focus on positive decisions for their successful future. So this program is related to COVID because the pandemic has created serious hardships for low-income families on every level. However, the youth are getting affected the most. That is why our organization believes that we have a moral obligation to step in and respond to these burdens before they are intensified. Since March, the CDC has stated that there has been a 24% spike nationwide in mental health-related emergency room visits among children between the ages 5 and 11, and 31% between 12 and 17. The COVID-19 pandemic has contributed to a spike in substance abuse overdose deaths as well in Maryland, according to our State Department. And we feel as though that all of these are related to our participants because many of our participants have mentioned that they have been going through mental health crisis and mentioned that they had trouble with substance abuse, especially our older participants. So we realized that isolation and depression are both prominent in the pandemic, and they're also risk factors for violence. And County Executive Stuart Pittman said that as well. We saw our homicide count jump from 4 in 2019 to 6 in 2020 after the pandemic. And also 11 people were injured in non-fatal shootings in 2019. And in 2020, we had 17. And a couple of these situations, our youth were involved in this in the city of Annapolis. And another reason we need this program is because we really, a great amount of the youth that we work with rely on the school system to provide them with meals weekly and daily. However, during the weekends, when our program is very prevalent, a free meal isn't provided. Also, there are a multitude of students who are struggling with their classes because they're unable to focus in school because of virtual learning. And a lot of them need a hands-on approach in order to learn. And the program offers that. So what we're specifically doing is we created a robust program to teach our participants about businesses, trades, job skills, and a variety of math techniques. through our business aspect, a lot of our participants are indecisive about their future career path. So our goal is to motivate the youth to use this program as a stepping stone to become innovative and creative. And we'll be teaching them how to buy and sell products and not only be consumers, but be investors as well. We also realize there's been a drastic change in the number of students who participate in trade programs in high school. A lot of our students in the school system are unaware that college isn't the only option. That is why we add emphasis on our activities involving trade, because we want our participants to be able to explore every field that is presented to them. We also created activities that focus on teaching our youth about potential job skills while they're engaging in our programs. Skills that they learn during the process are communication, leadership, teamwork, and time management. And since we created a strong relationship with our participants and their parents, we are aware that many of them are struggling in school, especially math. So the math techniques that we are teaching them through our programs measures specific equations that will help them with their addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and fractions. So we created a new model of teaching that provide the kids with an unconventional way of learning to meet the needs. So how will our program combat these issues in a positive manner? So when we're talking about crime, there are many reasons why giving our youth the opportunity to participate in our programs can be beneficial, but the two significant reasons are new learning experience and crime prevention. Many adolescents participate in delinquency, and that's because the lack of resources and activities in their everyday life. Will combat against mental health, because if we take our youth out of the everyday environment that they have been isolated in during this pandemic, we will help relieve a lot of stress and pressure that has been placed on our participants. As far as literacy, our programs are composed of a lot of information that our youth will have to read in order to comprehend activity. This facet will be used as reading practice over and over again. Another issue that we'll be combating is lack of educational resources. Dedicating time to extracurricular activities during the pandemic provides students with a sense of normalcy, social connection amid uncertainty. So the next one is also the financial hardship. So since our programs are free, it gives the communities an affordable way to keep our youth on track. We also plan on giving our participants $60 stipends for completing the program. We want to have an approach that is very similar to internships that are offered in college when kids are exploring new career fields that are aligned with their major. So we want to teach our participants this at a young age. We also will be combating hunger, because we know that kids learn the best when they're fed, and a lot of our participants do not receive 3 meals a day. So we want to emphasize on that as well. And we'll also be combating the virus, because being safe is our #1 priority. So not only will the mentors play correct techniques of protecting ourselves from the virus, but we also teach our mentees how to sanitize an area completely to ensure that any germs or bacteria are eradicated from our working areas. And that's about it. If you all have any questions, I wanted to answer them. Oh yeah, or the expenses, I'm sorry. So transportation, the insurance, the operational budget, the equipment, the stipends, the meals for the youth, and
is that all?
Yes.
Awesome. Any questions from the Alderman I almost said Alderman Arnett. Alderman Chandlermeyer, I'm sorry.
I think I'm just going to go pout after that. First of all, Mr. Lloyd, obligatory thank you for all you're doing here. Second, I apologize if I'm misunderstanding what you wrote down in, I guess I'll call it the description or prospectus that was shared with our committee. Is part of like what the Superior Futures goal is to kind of help train for like future career opportunities? Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, that is part of it. Because when I was in high school specifically, I didn't know about Cat South or Cat North until I was in 10th grade, and I always felt as though that was a missed out opportunity, because I had a chance to learn about trades. And even if I didn't like the trade that I learned in high school, I would still have the opportunity to go to college. But I feel as though when we take that type of resource away from our youth, they are oblivious about it until it's too late. So we have grown adults who are like 30 years old and, want to get interested in certain trades. So we want to provide this resource to them early.
Have you connected in regards to trades with any of the local unions in our area?
No, actually, I haven't connected with any of them.
Would that be something you would be interested in?
Yes, sir.
Please email me and I'll help connect you to some local building trades groups.
Got you. Thank you.
Any more questions? That's good. Awesome. That's great. Teresa, did you have anything?
No, just that it's very nice to meet you. I haven't met
nice
you.
to meet you as well, Teresa.
We talked a lot on the phone.
Phone calls aren't enough.
So it's good to meet you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
This is good. I'm excited that you're getting to meet all the crews tonight. I don't really have any questions. I followed the work. I'm glad that you're continuing to reach out to more communities. I love the idea that you mentioned. I was going to say, are you going to do they should do stipends or something like that because they're doing work. And so I think that's fantastic. And, it just teaches kids the importance of work and earning an income. So, I really look forward to the success of the program and for the kids in our community. So thank you for that.
Thank you all. Appreciate you all.
Well,
go ahead. Sorry.
I never got a stipend during my internship, so you guys are treating your members and participants better. So thank you for doing that because you are doing work you deserve to get paid for.
Exactly.
Any other questions or concerns?
No.
That's it. Awesome. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you all for having me here.
So the only other thing we have on the list is HUD allows the city to take 20% of the grant for administration. So we'll be doing that in light of our budgetary problems.
What's administration?
That would be administering CDBG. Most communities are allowed, you're allowed to take 20% of your grant for administration. And we used to do that years ago when we used to get $450,000. We would always take our 20%. But as our grant kept going down, and I kept getting more things to do that weren't CDBG, we decided that we wouldn't take our administration allowance, which is capped at 20%. But now we have some budgetary issues that we're facing, so we're going to go ahead and.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. And so,
so these are our recommendations for the $272,000.
Okay. And so, there's no point for debate at this stage in the game. I think everything that is up is up. And so if we could get, and so there is another fund after, so this is the second or third round of CBDG funding.
There were 3 rounds, but we didn't get the second. The small cities didn't get the second round. The second round of CDBG went to the counties.
Okay.
But we were included in what the county got because they used it for their eviction program and stuff. So
okay. And so do you anticipate any funds, any additional funding from any? Okay.
No, I added it up and we'll probably get our 262. We got this 272 and we had 156. So we got about $690,000 in CDBG money.
Okay. If you'd like to share anything else, if not, then we could take a motion to recommend favorable to the council ID 2921 SA 2321 CDBG Planning and Zoning. A motion?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was seeing if Ms. Wellman had anything else to add. Mr. Chairman, so moved.
Lynn, do you have anything you'd want to add? Lynn?
No, thank you. No, I don't have anything else to add.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, then so moved for a favorable recommendation.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Thank you very much, Teresa. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Projects.
And so, yeah, very, very good projects. And I know you worked hard on this. We talk often. So thank you. And next up is housing and community equity development. That's next, the big project.
Well, the other thing too is at your next meeting, I'm going to bring forward the regular CDBG recommendations. So
in March?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Our normal CDBG. So please put that on the agenda.
Okay. So we'll make sure that gets added, and we'll get everything figured out as it relates to invitations and stuff. So thank you very much. We appreciate it.
The commission's been sent all the as soon as we get all the members together. Now that we have Kathy, I think we need 2 more, but we're going to try to put together something for March, and everybody's gotten all the information that they need about the consent order and the task force, information. So we've sent all that out.
Okay. And so, well, never mind. We can figure it out, because I think as long as we just have maybe an intro meeting prior to maybe I don't know what would work for you, a special meeting at the end of March.
A special meeting for
the housing and community equity development. Have they, because they haven't met at all yet? Correct?
No, we don't have a committee yet. Now with Kathy, we have 4, so we actually have a quorum.
So we could maybe have a intro, or
so the plan was to have them meet in March and give them a briefing on what our expectations are of them. So their meeting has been moved to the 4th Thursday.
Okay.
The 3rd or 4th Thursday. So we've been sending, Hillary and I have been sending them out information, the ones that are on now. And we just need 2 more people, and I can't remember, I'm sorry, where we are with that. I thought we had two more people that were interested. One is on the task force, but wants to wait until the task force is finished. And then there was somebody else, and I just can't remember who it was.
No, we can get it figured out, and we'll just maybe meet offline then. Thank you very much. I appreciate it again.
Okay.
The next item on the agenda. Oh, before we move on to the next item on the agenda, I just want to check to see if anything has changed in the background for either the opioid prevention update or the appointment.
Neither one.
Okay, no problem. Next item on the agenda is legislation before the committee 0520 moderately priced dwelling units.
I'd like to stay for this.
Okay. For the public, for the purpose of updating certain occupancy periods of moderately priced dwelling units, eliminating variations on defined terms, providing supplemental regulatory authority to the Director of Planning and Zoning in general related to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. So yeah, I asked that this be, I didn't really understand what was going on, but while it was before the Rules and City Government Committee. Is the director on, or would you be explaining, Teresa?
Sally, well, which ones? Basically, what happened with this was when the Housing and Community Development Committee changed the, made that big change in the MPDU legislation. They didn't do a clean job of updating all the years. So when you changed everything to 30 years, when you changed it to 30-year periods, those 30-year periods, you didn't change the rest of it that referred to that. So the 10 years were still in there. So all that had to be brought up to date. And then,
so, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
please.
so it was just a cleanup of, and then you changed the name of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, but you didn't change it throughout the legislation. So that all had to be cleaned
because
up.
Previously it was the Housing Affordability Trust Fund?
No, it was just the housing I think it was just the Home Trust Fund. You had, I can't remember. I don't have a legislation in front. Well, I do actually.
Right. So it's just making it consistent throughout the whole section of the code.
And so what happened, I think, I may have just either got on the council or it happened before I got on the council. I think they did, the way the MPDU funds was tweaked, correct?
When you change the years, that when you changed it to 30 years, that the MPDUs had to have a control period of 30 years. It was 10, but you didn't change it throughout the legislation where it was referenced.
So what I'm thinking in my mind, maybe recommend to the council to postpone. Because while we have the opportunity to, while the MPDUs is even being discussed, I'd like to potentially discuss with colleagues to go back to the way that they were collecting funds, maybe increase the MPDU fee. Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I think while we have the opportunity now, we revert back and collect the fee because I don't want to see either trust fund dry up.
But you can't because, I mean, then you would have to change it and let people not build MPDUs and pay the fee in lieu instead of building the MPDUs.
But the problem with the fee in lieu originally was that it was too low, so that we weren't collecting sufficient dollars. And so, if we revert to that, collect a sufficient amount of funds from the fee in lieu, we can use those finances to continue projects, revitalization, and invest in affordable housing, correct?
Yes and no. The problem with that is that if we actually get a house out of this, so many houses, we could never collect enough money in the fee to pay for the houses that we would get.
So it wouldn't even be worth an investment. What is a typical MPDU fee, and maybe in local jurisdictions?
So, it's based on the construction costs. Go ahead, Sally.
Okay.
I was just going to say there are other jurisdictions that we looked at where their fees were heftier than ours, and I don't know if they have a different way of calculating it. So, I mean, that is an option to raise revenue, but I was just going to say I thought that needed to be a separate ordinance because the purpose of this ordinance was just to do some cleanup. And you're kind of talking about a different direction where we would both want to reinstitute the fee in lieu and set a new way of doing the fee. So we get, something worthwhile out of it. And, I think we would all, I don't know if it's true. Generally, what Teresa's saying is that it's difficult for the city to be able to find land and, build a house. But if we have flexibility of what we could use that money for, maybe that makes the fee more attractive.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't think we should, with this legislation, it's going to be think about it. You've got you've got a project that's coming up that maybe might provide 10 MPDUs. Do you know how much money it costs to build those?
Yeah,
we could never build 10 houses affordable to people in the middle.
And so the problem previously expressed, Alderman Shannon, I'm sorry, I'll come to you in a second. I just responded. The problem previously expressed with the MPDU program is that while it does create affordable housing, we are still missing the market, I think, below, based off of the requirements for financing and, that need that affordable housing. And so if we tweak this, collect the fee, and also along with the recommendations of task force and other recommendations that were made by the body, tweak the trust funds, either the home ownership or trust fund or this new one, which I'm finding about the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, to fit the needs of communities and the needs of citizens, then we'd be able to distribute the funds to meet those housing needs, correct?
But this legislation is just cleanup.
Yeah, I get what this legislation
But we should just clean this up and then look, what you're talking about is going to require an awful lot of research. I'm looking right now at what we've collected in fees in lieu, and it's hardly anything in terms of what we would get if we actually get the MPDUs.
So think
about. To give you an example, for 238 West Street, we collected $232,000.
So 238 West Street, are those the ones that are on the circle where the car shop used to be?
Where are those, Sally?
238 West, I think that's where like the little car shop used to be right at the circle.
Yeah, I think so.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah.
We only got $232,000. Imagine what MPDUs would be worth if we got.
And what was the fee for that? So the fee, I'm sorry, was based off of the project calculation, or the total of the project creates the fee for the MPDU.
The construction cost it's a certain percentage of the construction cost, plus the grading and all these different costs. It would require an awful lot of research.
Okay. Let me let Alderman Shandermeyer ask his question, and then we'll come back.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Wellman and Ms. Dr. Nash. Quick question on what the philosophy behind our fee in lieu of. Is that treated as, do we implement this as a revenue increaser, or do we implement this as a encouragement for local developers to put affordable housing in? Because if they don't, we make it more expensive for them to do business.
Well, we don't have the fee in lieu option anymore. We used to, and I think it was what everyone's saying here. I think we all agree it was too low, and it was very easy for developers to opt out therefore and pay the fee because they don't really want to build these units because, for a number of reasons, it's more paperwork and, so it kind of depends. If the fee was higher, that's what we're saying, we could leverage it to do more things. On the other hand, it's never really going to be able to capture the impact of someone building a new home that's going to be in a moderately priced range.
Right. So, originally, the fee was devised because the whole notion of if you're going to make the developers do something, then they have to get something in return. In return, they get a density bonus. But the problem was a lot of the projects couldn't use the density bonus. In fact, they couldn't even build up to their own maximum density. So because they weren't allowed to use the density bonus, they got to pay a fee in lieu. And it was all based on whether or not they could use the density bonus. That's what it was based on.
Right. Yeah. But there's often so many other constraints on a site, like environmental factors, stormwater regulations, critical area regulations, forest conservation, that they couldn't get to that density. So
it was sort of like trying to be fair.
And this legislation before us, it's just cleanup. It doesn't really get into get into like the fees and stuff. We would have to put forward another ordinance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, it's only where we've crossed out it used to be called the Home Ownership Assistance Trust Fund, and we changed it in your previous legislation when you changed it to 30 years and made all those changes. You changed it to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, but you didn't change it throughout the legislation. So we're going back through and changing and updating all of that.
So this legislation, if I understand correctly, this is basically like an editing job.
Yeah, and I understand that completely. But what I'm saying is that because this is open the MPDU can, I'm asking that we recommend to the full council that we postpone this legislation, understanding that it is a cleanup. But in my mind, I believe additional edits may come along. With that, I'd like to ask that with the recommendation for a postponement to the full council, we ask for the Office of Planning and Zoning to look at what we just discussed, tweaking the MPDU code to meet the requirements that the council desires. And also, because we mentioned density, I'll get into that. I have stood firm on the commitment that we don't have land. The only way we can go is up. And I think that those incentives could be of value to developers later on, as well if we could make this MPDU fee work out. And so I'd like to work on a long-term plan with the MPDU where it meets the needs that me and Brooks have discussed. And I'm sure some of my other colleagues, agree with, as with the fees being too low, and we'd like to see them increase to meet the incentives for the developers, but also provide funds. So if we could look at that as a whole before we pass this, I'd appreciate that.
So you just want this to be part of like an entire comprehensive.
Exactly. And I think that we could use this as a way to have that conversation.
It's going to be a while. I'm going to be honest with you. It's going to be a while before, with my current workload, I can get to that.
So,
doing the research and providing information, it's just, one person, I just got appointed to be the person that is for the.
Would the bulk of the work be maybe through the law office? Would it be legislative?
It's trying to figure out whether this is a good option for the city in terms of what you're getting for your money, whether or not it's better for us to be able to get those MPDUs if we get more by getting the MPDUs, or we get more by charging a fee.
All right, so let's just do this for the sake of time for everybody here. If okay with my colleague, let's postpone this legislation or recommend unfavorable to the full council, requesting a postpone until the council meets again in March, because then we'd have to bring it back to the committee to recommend it favorably. Because I like to have that conversation about what we can do with MPDUs.
I don't think we need to give it an unfavorable recommendation. I think we can just delay action.
Okay, well then let's do that.
Yeah, we can. I'm amenable to that. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to delay action on this legislation.
And I'll second that.
All right.
Okay. Discussion. I want to respect the staff. Discussion. Okay. All in favor? Aye. Awesome. Teresa, I'm sorry. No disrespect, Teresa. We talk very often. I'll call you. Yeah, and we can discuss it. I don't want to put I don't want to put the burden on you, but I think that will even something that may come out of. It's not actually going to come out of the recommendations of the Affordable Housing Task Force, but we did recommend a way to fully fund our housing projects and commitment to affordable housing in the future. And I think this may be an option. So if we could just have the conversation with the understanding that we will pass this, but I'd just like to have that conversation.
That's fine. I just think that having legislation that's incorrect on the books makes me. Since this just was a cleanup, it was just changing the name of the affordable, it was, but that's fine. We've got a lot going on. So we can have a conversation, but I don't know, unless my boss says, okay, stop this and do that, when I'll be able to get to actually doing some good research on this.
Alderman Schandelmeyer?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I am going to slightly echo Ms. Wellman's sentiments. I do think delaying it for like a round is not the biggest deal. Since it is since it's and it gives us time to do like a little bit of research on our end to kind of develop this whole package. I don't think realistically we'll have time with like the law office and the legislative process to get that entire reform through in time, if that makes sense. But yeah, we can delay it around and
we can give it to the commission to look at.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd be pretty happy to link up with you and like bring back the fee in lieu of, so we can, either come up with a philosophy behind it. Do we A, put this in as a funding mechanism, or B, put this in as a behavioral control? And
don't forget, the county is putting together a trust fund.
Yes.
It includes the city of Annapolis.
But did that have? Well, yeah. So did that pass or I'm sorry,
I don't know. Did you went and did you?
I did share testimony. I wasn't sure really that they were in such a rush. It was the last item on the agenda. But just hold on one second. Takia, did you have anything to add?
I was just saying that it is in planning commission already.
Oh, this legislation?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. So we still got a little bit of time. Awesome. All right. Yeah. Thank you very much. So any other questions or concerns on this, or we'll close out discussion? All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys.
Okie dokie.
That concludes the agenda. Next item on the agenda is the enrollment. I'd entertain a motion unless there is further discussion. Yes, Takia?
What are you going to do about the appointment for Grace Matthews? Postpone?
Oh, yeah. Do we have to recommend to postpone that?
Do we need them here, or like what's your thought process? Like I've just looked at their recommendations, their references and resume. I'm frankly willing to give it a positive recommendation without them here, since most of the time I only ask, why did you apply? What's your thought on that? I have no strong opinion.
Well, she went to an HBCU, so let's do it. Let's take the I'll make the or is there a motion to approve AP 321, the appointment of Grace Matthews to the Education Commission?
So moved. Favorable recommendation.
Second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Awesome. And then for ID 2121, opioid prevention related programs and services, update by City Manager Gerald. If we could send an additional request to them to come before the committee, because it's important. I mean, we are 120% increase in overdoses in the city. Like, that's insane. And outside of the public safety side of it, there's a human services side of it that we have to look at. And so, yeah, that works if we could have that. And I think that concludes the agenda.
Yeah. Do we have, related to opioid prevention, do we have safe injection sites in the city? Is that handled by like county level, or is that like a state level thing, or is that like so radioactive because of federal regulations that we don't even want to touch it?
So that is a very good question.
Only
I don't believe we currently do have them. And I do recall that there was conversation because of some of the zoning questions, with it being so close to residential communities. I fully support them. And I've seen the research when interning with Delegate Penna Melnick, and she had introduced legislation like that. So I think it's great, and it helps a reduction in opioid overdoses in communities. If you'd like to look at it, I'd, jump on that with you as well as maybe a co-sponsor on something.
Yeah, I agree fully. Like, it's one of those issues where people doing that chest thumping, drugs are bad, that seems right, but when you actually look at the numbers, it costs lives. So.
It could maybe even be fit to the needs of a recreational facility, so that there doesn't have to be so much concern with the zoning and all of that stuff. I don't know, maybe just something to look at.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with the issue. It's just I do know that it saves lives, and we can look at that offline.
Anything else?
No, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to conclude our meeting.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That concludes the.
Nope.
Oh, okay. That concludes the Housing and Human Welfare meeting then.